Hi everyone. Today I'll describe my research investigating the connections between restored oyster reefs and the fish that use them as habitat. But first, some background. The humble oyster was once a dominant feature of the Chesapeake Bay, forming vast aggregations known as bars, beds, rocks, or reefs. Full of nooks and crannies, these reefs provided structure for small animals as well as food resources for larger ones. As a visitor to the Chesapeake Bay in 1701 wrote, "The abundance of oysters is incredible. There are whole banks of them, so much so that they surpass those in England by far in size, and ships must avoid them." Unfortunately, we know this is no longer the case. The harvest of oysters in Chesapeake Bay is 1% of former levels, the result of declines in water quality, disease, as well as harvest. These dramatic losses have prompted widespread interest in restoration. However, restoration is also really expensive. Current efforts in the Bay are estimated to cost between $1.5 to $6.5 billion. That's a lot of money, and to maximize our investment, we really need to have a good sense not only of the costs, but also all of the potential benefits and impacts of restoration as well. And that's where my research comes in. What I want to know is this: how might restoring oyster reef habitat benefit fish, particularly those that are commercially or recreationally important, like this black sea bass here? Put it another way, it's kind of like Field of Dreams. If we build it, will they come? To answer these questions, I'm using a combination of methods. The first is a field survey. I'm sampling the fish community at sites with restored oyster reefs and sites lacking any oysters and comparing the results between the two. The second is a diet analysis, otherwise known as looking at fish guts back in the lab. However, by examining what these fish are eating when they're near restored oyster reefs and comparing that to information we have on the types and kinds of animals that are living amongst the reef, we can begin to quantify some of the links between that habitat and those fish. So to sum up, when I finish my research, I will have a better picture of the fish community that uses restored oyster reef as habitat and their food web connections to that habitat. Hopefully, the results of my study will improve our understanding of the ecological benefits and impacts of oyster restoration, as well as provide the data necessary to make informed decisions about the management and restoration of oysters, oyster reefs, and other coastal habitats. Thank you very much.